BookTube, welcome back. It's Liz from Book Learning. Today I'm hiking in the woods. I'm on the Mount Pleasant Trail, also called the Henry Lanham Trail. I'll catch the sign on my way out. But in honor of a longtime volunteer. This is in the George Washington National Forest. And I'm here because of a book, Cold Mountain by Charles Frazier. So the Mount Pleasant Trail is the sister trail to the Cold Mountain Trail. But it's not the same Cold Mountain. I would not be able to get all the way down to the real Cold Mountain on a day hike. The real Cold Mountain is down here, but I live up here, so I hiked around here. I picked up Cold Mountain, the book, towards the end of our Outer Banks vacation with my husband's family, and I'm still working on it. It's in my pack for whenever I feel like taking a break, but it's just an adventure story. I really love Charles Frazier's 13 Moons, which was similar theme, just in the wilderness of North Carolina. And that kind of wilderness, outdoors, south vibe is what I tend toward in my summer reading. A lot more nonfiction, a lot of bugs, oh my gosh. And yesterday actually, no, the day before, I listened to an entire nonfiction book written in 1914 called Letters of a Woman Homesteader by Elinore Pruitt Stewart about homesteading in Wyoming, but that was only 100 years ago. It's kind of crazy. Only 100 years ago, there was still like frontier in the United States. Okay, I'm not looking pretty anymore, if I ever was, so just enjoy the scenery. So what do Cold Mountain, a novel, and a woman's letters of a woman homesteader have to do with each other, or with me for that matter? Well, both of them, I've been really fascinated by the strength of their female characters. And Elinore Pruitt Stewart was a washwoman in Denver, an orphan before that, and she decided to file a claim in the frontier of Wyoming and see what she could make of herself. And it's just reading her accounts of hiking in the woods and having to fend for herself, as well as the strength of her character in just defying the gender stereotypes, the gender expectations of the day. It was pretty awesome. Although, disclaimer, I haven't done any research on the reliability of that as a nonfiction source, because I think, like many travelogues and things, they're sometimes written to advertise and encourage people to do something, rather than serve just as like an honest diary or account. And also, disclaimer, there are some racial, there were some interesting racial descriptions and discussions in it, although that's somewhat to be expected from it as a period piece. And also, she's not like dismissive of anybody and actually celebrates a lot of diversity, but she definitely uses the N-word. Likewise, in Cold Mountain, the narrative is split between Inman, a Confederate soldier wounded in battle at Petersburg who needs to travel by foot all the way from central Virginia back to the west-southwest of North Carolina, because he wants to just go home. And let's see, what's her name? Ada, who is now alone on a broken down farmstead that her father had purchased and done nothing with, in the middle of war where all the men are gone, but she is aided by Ruby, who is an orphan, essentially a fierce woodsman, frontiersman, I don't know how you would describe it, and they just make things work. They just do it. They get it done. So anyway, I cannot claim to be anything like Elinore or Ruby or even Ada, but we've had a rough spring. And so I guess it's been making me think about the precariousness of self-sufficiency and what bravery people needed to have to settle a new frontier. Bear with me and my pink sweaty face. Okay, so the last time I did this trail was a couple years ago with Marcus, my dog, and we got up to the summit, and it proceeded to rain just ridiculously. And this is the halfway point, so by the time we got, and it didn't stop raining, by the time we got back to the car, my dog had been traumatized by rain. We were soaked to the bone. So here's hoping that doesn't happen to me again. Hope you're enjoying this walk, and I hope you enjoyed the view. I wanted to take a second to talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think it's pretty clear that Abe is Bay, but one of my other heroes is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I was really lucky to be able to go to the RBG film yesterday. Lucky in the sense that it was still in the theaters, and that I was, just able to go on a Friday afternoon. And I guess I've been reading a lot about really strong women lately, and also just kind of trying to take in more history and nonfiction biography about strong women. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was, she's this pop culture icon essentially right now. But her legacy was really grounded in the 1970s, as the film explores, with her groundbreaking gender equality arguments before the Supreme Court when she was an attorney. And I've been feeling, I guess, really overwhelmed and also unimpressed with myself lately, because that's just how depression and anxiety work, even though my husband likes to point out all the awesome things that I do. My brain won't shut up. So it's been really encouraging to read Cold Mountain, listen to Letters of a Woman Homesteader, and watch the RBG film, because they just got on with it. And so I'm really, really glad that I could get out and into the woods, and it's been really refreshing. Just the solitude and being able to talk through what's been racing through my mind lately. So, thank you, BookTube.